vaccines always have very many doubts in the minds of people. Also, there are many controversies always in the social media domain about vaccines. What are the scientific facts about vaccines? Let us see in today's video. Hi friends, I am Dr. Karamat and this is Scientific Doctor channel. In this channel, you will see videos on health related topics released every week. If you want to see such videos, kindly subscribe to this channel. Also press the bell icon to get instant notifications on new videos. Today's topic is going to be on vaccines. Let us see first how do the vaccines work. Last week I had released a video on immunity. Kindly see that to get a better perspective of how the immune system works. Basically, vaccines work by giving immunity but without giving the disease. Usually, when infectious organisms enter our body, we may suffer from the infection and we get the disease and then develop antibodies. Vaccines are a way to bypass this, that is, without getting the disease, we are getting the immunity alone. How are these vaccines given? Vaccines are essentially either the whole or parts of the microorganism causing the disease. If it is whole, it may be live or killed. Even if it is live, it is attenuated. What do I mean? That is, the disease causing ability of the organism is removed, but the ability to induce immunity is retained. So, these organisms modified in such a way can be injected alive or they may be killed. If they are killed, the whole organism or some parts of it which are enough to induce immunity will be injected into the person to produce immunity. Even though I said injected, not all vaccines are injections. Some are oral, some are given via the nasal route. Even among injections, vaccines may be given into the muscle, intramuscular, which is the most common route. Many vaccines are given subcutaneously, below the skin. Some vaccines like BCG are given into the skin, that is intradermally. So, there are many routes of giving of vaccines. In all these routes, the immune system takes up these antigens and produce antibodies, thereby providing protection against the infection. So, what kind of diseases do we give vaccine against? Usually, vaccines are given against only serious diseases. I usually use the adjectives deadly or dangerous, that is serious enough to cause death or serious enough to cause morbidity, that is hospitalization or some disability. Obviously, vaccines are expensive in the research itself. So, simple diseases which don't require much treatment or which are not going to cause much harm, there will be no vaccines. Are vaccines 100% effective? That is the common question asked. Nothing in the field of medical science, even in biology itself, can be termed as 100%, but these vaccines, after undergoing extensive trials, have demonstrated efficacy which is good enough to prevent the disease. That's why these are approved and are recommended, after which only you are being given the vaccines. So, these are effective to the tune of around 90 to 100%, so they can be taken with confidence. The common doubt raised by people is there were not many vaccines in olden days. Why are so many vaccines given now? We must understand the history of vaccination dates back to many centuries ago. Even though the first vaccine against smallpox was discovered by Edward Jenner by a fortuitous discovery, but actually the process of preventing disease by a process called variolation. This process called variolation was present in China and probably in India centuries ago. The skin from the lesions of the smallpox itself, from the persons who have contracted smallpox, will be taken and will be injected into the nostrils or into the skin. And the problem with this practice was, though many individuals were protected, many succumbed to the disease itself because there was no purification, no analysis. It was not a proper scientific practice, but because of the fear of smallpox, many people were taking this. At least I have a chance of being prevented. That's their idea. From the late 18th century onwards, the science of vaccinology has come up in leaps and bounds. The second doubt people often ask is, I haven't heard of these diseases itself, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, so why should I give my child these vaccines? You haven't heard these diseases because vaccination is being given to the public at large, so there is no transmission of disease in the community. That's why we haven't heard. But these have not been eradicated. Even recently we would have heard about diphtheria outbreaks in Coimbatore and Tirupur district, and many of these vaccine preventable diseases are making a comeback because people are now careless and they don't take vaccines. As people who have not taken vaccines, the proportion increases, the chance of these diseases coming back also increases, and unfortunate individuals might even succumb to the disease. The next doubt often people ask is, what are compulsory vaccines and which are optional? And also a corollary to this question is, in the government setup not all these vaccines are given, then why should I give my child all these vaccines? We must understand first a concept. Vaccines are being recommended based on the country's epidemiology, that is whether this disease is present in this country, to what tune, what is the public health burden, and based on this and also on the availability of vaccine, efficacy of vaccine, vaccines are recommended for the regions by WHO, that is World Health Organization, and other recommending bodies including National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization. This is a quasi-government body which also has government as well as other representatives, as also by Indian Academy of Pediatrics, that is IAP. These bodies recommend vaccines based on the above factors. The government intends to give all these vaccines. Due to logistic, economic and other reasons, it can't implement all vaccines at one go, especially in a country like India with a huge population. In the last 10 to 15 years, government has also introduced newer vaccines into the national immunization program. Traditionally, the initial vaccines were diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, BCG, measles and polio. But in the last 10 to 15 years, newer vaccines against hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenza B, pneumococcus, rotavirus, Japanese encephalitis, all these have been included in the recent years. This goes on to show that all these vaccines are good, but the government will expand the national program on immunization bit by bit based on economic and other resources. So, to sum up, it is not that any vaccine is compulsory. When I mean compulsory, that you will be given some punishment if you are not taking the vaccine. No, these are not compulsory, but these are recommended to your children so that the next generation may not suffer from these diseases. Also, it is not only for the individuals, but by giving vaccine, you are preventing the spread of these diseases in the community itself, so thereby helping the public health at large. Also, not many vaccines were given in the olden days because the science of vaccinology itself was evolving. There were not so many vaccines. Now that you have vaccines against many diseases, it becomes prudent to prevent these diseases rather than suffering from it, because as I said in the initial part of the video, vaccines are given against deadly and dangerous diseases. Another doubt which my patients ask is, my child is well, then why should I vaccinate? Vaccination is a preventive health strategy, that is not a curative. When you have the disease, when you don't have the disease, when you are healthy, you are supposed to take vaccine and prevent this disease from happening. So obviously vaccines will be given for only healthy children not to sick children who have already acquired the disease. We often hear about side effects of vaccine. Do you want to say that there are no side effects to vaccine? As I said in some other video, for anything and everything in this world, there will be side effect. If there is an effect, there is a side effect. Side effect is not restricted to vaccines, medicines, the so-called allopathic medicines. It is even present to foods, water. I jokingly often say there can be side effect even to love and affection. If it is too much, it can also have some undesired effects. That is a side effect. So vaccines will not have side effects. That is not what the doctors or the scientists claim. Vaccines do have side effects, but they are very minimal. These are well researched products. So whatever side effects are there, these have been documented. What to be done for these is also documented. Usually vaccines will have local side effects like fever, pain and swelling. But sometimes, rarely, other side effects may happen. The most dangerous of which is anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is the severe form of allergy or the severest form of allergy where you can even die if unattended to. But anaphylaxis not only happens to vaccines. Anaphylaxis can happen to drugs, whether given via injections or given orally. It can happen to food. We might have heard more commonly in the Western world about peanut allergy. Some individuals are allergic to groundnuts or peanuts even if the food inadvertently contained peanut and they are not given proper care. Even people may die of anaphylaxis. So anaphylaxis is not peculiar to vaccines. It can happen to anything, but vaccines are usually given in the health facilities, and facilities to tackle anaphylaxis is present in the health facility. So you are more safe in taking vaccines than anaphylaxis happening to anything else. And anaphylaxis percentage in vaccines is not higher than anything else. It happens to 1 in many lakh individuals. It is safe to say that vaccines can be taken, especially in the health facilities, without any undue risks. Friends, today we have seen in this video about some of the common doubts about vaccines, how do vaccines work, and what are compulsory and optional vaccines. If you like this video, kindly share it among your friends and relatives. If you have any more doubts, kindly put it in the comment section. Due to some heavy workload, I was not able to answer the comments in the past few weeks. So if you have any more doubts on vaccines, you can put it in the comment section. I will try to answer them, but if it requires extensive explanation, I will make a separate video on them. If you want to see such videos, subscribe to this channel. Till we meet again, bye.